I'm Troy Francois.
And I'm Crystal Francois.
And we are currently foster parents.
We've been fostering since July.
Yes, 2 days after my birthday. That was my birthday present.
Your son.
My son, yeah.
We started considering becoming foster parents or adopting or helping children in that capacity when we were in college.
Yeah.
We were working with a lot of children who either were in foster care, out of foster care, or
at risk. Yeah.
Of being in that kind of situation.
Yeah, being in that situation.
And we knew that it was something that we would eventually want to do when we were all grown up, I guess.
Yeah.
So we have a 9-year-old, and now we have a toddler. And it has been 7 years since we've had a toddler, so that's definitely been an adjustment. Getting used to life with potty training and tantrums.
And also being aware of Alana, making sure she still feels very loved as we have this new child in the home. That was one of my fears initially as we was going into this, is how my daughter would take on this new responsibility, this new role of being a big sister, something she never had to do before.
But I think that she actually has embraced it more than we would have ever anticipated. Now the concern is more of what it's going to be like when he gets to go back home to his mom.
Yeah.
We know that the goal as foster parents are our role is to help him to heal while his mom is healing, and we've said that to Alana from day one, that our responsibility is to help him and to help his family, and that he may be with us forever, but the goal is for him to go home. And we have been very open with her about that, and I think she understands it cognitively, mentally.
Yeah.
It's emotionally, it's going to be probably more of a challenge, but
I think that's gonna be a challenge on everybody.
Yeah, it's gonna be tricky.
But she's gaining understanding. She's understanding her purpose, and I think for us that was the bigger goal, is for her to understand that she has a purpose, and this is something that it's something brave, and it's something big that she's doing for another child. She is the only child, so she never had the opportunity to be a big sister, and she's taken on this role, and she's been magnificent with it. So I think she is starting to understand the bigger picture, and I think it's going to be tough when he goes, but for the next child, she'll just be even more prepared to do God's work in someone else's life.
And his mom has asked us to stay in contact with them, and we hope that we'll be able to stay in contact with them, because I want Alana to also see on the other side that hopefully this process is a healing process, and that we did help him to heal and give his mom the space that she needed to heal, and that they can be a family unit again, and that we're there to be kind of like extended family.
Yeah.
Like Uncle Daddy.
Uncle Daddy.
That's what we call it.
My name's Alana, and I have a foster brother. They told me that we were going to have a boy, and I was very excited about it. I didn't even want a girl in the first place. My favorite thing is that I actually have someone to play with after school. The yuckiest thing about having a brother is they're very dirty.
When we got the initial placement agreement, which was kind of just like an overview of who we were getting, because he was coming out of another home because he had some issues at that home.
Yeah.
So I was a little hesitant, first of all, just like, okay, what are we taking on? Why couldn't they handle it?
Yeah, exactly.
But we got the placement paperwork, and it said that he had
blonde hair, blue eyes,
and we were like, what?
Yeah.
That's not what we thought we'd get living in South Fulton.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, it's been eye-opening for me, and I think when I'm out and about on the streets, I think for me, I had to get over a feeling of being judged, I think, or people's curiosity, and not being offended by their curiosity of the situation, because I think I think it's something people do not see often. A black man with a white child. So and then not just a black man with a white child, but then the interaction, because Adam is very affectionate with me. So he hugs and he's kissing my cheeks and he's rubbing my bald head, and I think people are a little startled. They're a little taken back. I remember when we first got him. And it was maybe, I don't know, a few weeks later, we went to like Six Flags, and he was getting tired, and I didn't want to stop Alana and have her go home, so I decided that I would leave with Adam. And as I was very conscientious of me having this white child, so I wanted to get out of the park as fast as possible, because I just didn't want people asking questions or, honestly calling the police on me, because it was like, why is this guy has this white child? So I'm hustling through Six Flags, and then it occurred to me that I probably should slow down, because then people are really gonna think I am kidnapping this little white child. So I slowed down. I even stopped and got myself something to eat and was playing with Adam. Again, I was being conscientious of what people would think, and I had to get over that. And not care what people thought of the situation, and just do what I know I needed to do for Adam. And it took me a little while to get over that. And then after that, I've anywhere I've gone, people have inquired about the situation. Most people open up dialogue by saying, "Is that your only child?" And then then you go on to tell them, "No, he's my foster child. Obviously, he's not. I didn't produce him, but." But that's how people usually open up dialogue to find out what it is, what the connection there between me and Adam. And it's funny because we were at Lowe's one day, or Home Depot.
Oh yeah, we met someone.
Who's a foster parent,
yeah,
and she opened up her dialogue.
Yeah.
Is that
so
your
like
only
she
child?
shared her story.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So you have to be open.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you're not sharing their personal life and why they're with you, but you need to be open, because you just never know, and you never know if it's on someone else's mind or on their heart.
Yeah.
And then they see you and they're like, "Oh, well, they kind of have a weird situation. So if they could do it, like maybe I could too."
And that's happened to me a few times. One time I was in Publix and Adam was sick, and I was at the pharmacist, and I'm getting all his prescriptions, and I'm trying to keep his attention, because he's getting really antsy. So I started making fart noises on his belly, and he's dying laughing. And this guy inquired, and same type of thing, like, "How many kids do you have?" That type of thing. And told him I have a biological daughter, and I have my foster child here. And he was like, "It's something I was kind of interested in doing." And so he inquired. It was really cool to see somebody who is not in it at that moment in time, but somebody that was thinking about it, and maybe my situation probably motivated him to probably go back and search for information to get back into it and become a foster parent. I would say just do it. I would say the funny thing is, when we initially considered doing foster care, I told my family, told friends, and everybody was like, no, can't y'all just have your own? And well, why are you fostering? Can you not have your own? And it was all these questions about us having our own biological child. And the truth is, we were not trying to have another one. It was something from the get-go. It's something we always said we was going to do some point in our life. So it's something I think we both talked to our family members about throughout our lifetime, that we was going to eventually do this.
But if you want to do it, and you feel like it's something that's weighing on your heart to be a foster parent, also weigh out, are you doing it because you want to adopt, or are you doing it because you want to help a child and their family? Because when we initially looked at this about 3 years ago, we were in a place where we wanted to adopt, and it was kind of like a route to adoption. And it's funny because the other day we got a call for a child who is the rights have been terminated of the parent. The child is up for adoption. And I was like, I don't think I want to adopt. Like, I'm really cool with doing the fostering. And not that we would never adopt, but it changes you, and it changes your heart. It changes what you thought your perspective was and what you wanted to do, and you just have to be open to that. The biggest thing I would say is to be open. It's hard, not because of necessarily the child you're dealing with, or
Yeah.
even maybe the parents you're dealing with. It's a system, and the whole DFAC system can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
Getting those services and the support, and if you're really doing it and trying to do what's best for the child, it
could be
a
some
challenge.
frustrating moments,
Yeah.
right? And but again, you have to understand that the system is overloaded, and this is
Right.
why it's so important that we
do it.
We do it because there's a massive caseload of kids in Georgia alone. So
In Fulton County alone.
in Fulton County alone, and you could just multiply that by multiple states, and it's a big problem in our nation. So you have to show grace to those who are working in DFACs. A lot of times they're traveling. Our caseworker travels from Douglasville, and then she has other caseloads, and then our foster child caseworker has caseloads and other children that she's constantly traveling around the state and trying to get these kids' lives back on track. So if you're going into this, you do have to make your mind up about your intent.
Mm-hmm.
Is your intent for adoption, or is your intent for fostering a child? Or again, you could be foster to adopt,
Right.
where
Which is what we are.
which you open your door. You can open the door to adoption if that comes up. That's why we got the call. But foster is the forefront. Is what you going to be doing initially.
For us, we went with FaithBridge because it was an agency. We looked at other agencies. We looked at DFACs before going to FaithBridge. This is probably our third or fourth
Yeah, I think our fourth
outlet that we've kind of looked at.
Yeah.
And we went with them because they had a huge focus on community, and they also have a family consultant. So if you just work with DFACs, that's fine, but you have to do more of the legwork on your end to kind of be proactive for what you need as a foster parent. Whereas if you work with an agency like FaithBridge, they have someone that's there to support just you and to support that child and really help you to navigate the system because it can be overwhelming.
Yeah. For me, I think one of the things selfishly was training was short. It was in a weekend. It was long hours, but I was able to accomplish it from Friday to Sunday.
Right.
So I didn't have to keep going back to these different meetings at different locations for like 6 weeks. I was able to get my training hours within a weekend and then focus on the paperwork and being interviewed and them coming to the home and doing the things I needed to do to get ourselves in a position of being able to become foster parents.
And it's made, for me, a huge difference to have another family in our church who's going through it. I keep joking that they are always like a month ahead of us. They always do. They were approved right before us. They had their first placement right before us. But it's good because you have someone else who understands what you're going through. Because so many people don't. They want to understand and they want to empathize with you, but you really can't understand it until you're in it. So having people around you who understand that, who have gone through the training, like we had friends and that have went through the training with FaithBridge, the volunteer training, and they were walked away kind of like, oh wow, I didn't know this, I didn't know that. So the more people that you're able to educate and get them to realize that you don't even just have to be a foster parent. You can
you could be a part of our circle of care. That's the cool thing with FaithBridge, because we have a ton of friends who are a part of circle of care that we can truly count on to help us with Adam. So from babysitting to picking up food to picking him up from school. T did that one time where she went to the school and picked him up. And it made a big difference for both of us because we both were at work and couldn't get to his school in time.
So there's a lot of outlets where ideally it's great to have more families who are fostering or who are approved to be a respite family. I've talked to a lot of people about doing that, just kind of helping out families who are fostering and helping them through respite. But there's a lot of ways that you can help if you're not ready to fully
if you're not really fully jump in, become part of the circle of care.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do.
Since we've started fostering, a big thing that has changed for me is that I'm the type of person where I like to plan everything. I I need to know the date, the time, the where, the when, the why, the how, everything. And with it coming into fostering, you have to be flexible, and you have to accept the fact that there's going to be so many things that you don't know. And I've learned to be okay with that, and it has built kind of my trust in, like, God's got it. You know, there's been things that have happened at work, and I'm like, oh, well, if that doesn't work out, something else will work out. You know, it helps you, I think, to build a stronger relationship with trusting that God's path and God's plan in your life is bigger than you. And that's the biggest thing that I think I've learned.
For me, I think what has changed my life most since fostering is knowing that my love for a child can be stretched far beyond just mine. You know, a lot of times, you know, you say, oh yeah, I can love this child like my own, but I truly can. Like, it's something that I truly can do. Adam is like a son, and you know, and I love my daughter to death. And this child that I did not give birth to, I love to death. And it just shows when people are hesitant about doing it, because I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't think I could do that.
Right. I could never give them back. I could never,
or just even take them on. Not even that. They couldn't just take that child on. Right. It's all the negativity of, you know, where this child has been, what this child has gone through, and so on and so forth. And I always tell people, you have to always think about the bigger picture or the historical lining of that child, right? So the foster child we have was taken out of their home, but there was no other family member that could have taken that child.
Not a grandma, not
a grandma, not an aunt,
cousin,
not a grandfather.
Nobody.
So
nobody.
You have to understand, like, the need of that child, and I think for me, God clearly showed me love. It can be bigger than just my own little oasis and my own family. It can extend far beyond a child who is not even of my same racial background and racial makeup. It's really powerful, and it definitely has changed my life.